So yeah, R2's not gonna be with me tonight. I thought he was, but he's hiding somewhere and he needs his batteries recharged. Recharge! I think we all need a recharge sometime here and there, right, folks? So excuse me here. Now, tonight's show, and I hopefully it's gonna be a good one, and I hope you folks have just as good a good time as I will be having with you guys. And so what we are going to talk about tonight, and in the comments, as you see that I kind of put on tonight about some stories of me being a bar back and some bar stories that, I've kind of been through in my lifetime and, some family members' lifetimes and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to have on the agenda tonight. And I'm also going to also talk about a YouTube channel that I just recently checked out, which was pretty cool, called Creative Sci-Fi, by another gentleman by the name of Anthony Ferraro. He's got a pretty cool channel there. Um, but first, we'll talk about that a little bit later, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about, of course, my character in Albatross Junction, and of course, I have the bar in there, and not only do I serve the drinks and so forth, but I'm also the storyteller in the bar as well. So let's start off, and I want to say that I've actually had a family bar, a bar in my family, and that's one of the reasons that Anthony and Kevin kind of went along with this. Me being in there not only because I was a big fan from the very get-go, but at the same time, it was like, you know, what can we put in for my character? And I started telling Anthony and Kevin about, stories of my family bar and so forth. And we were contemplating on different things and different scenarios of what my character will go through, what he's going to talk about and so forth. And and not every story is going to of course make it into there and stuff like that. And how my character develops is going to be, hugely dependent on Anthony and Kevin's direction. And and for those of you who are new and or going to be new watching this later on, yeah, Anthony Lagapa, also known as Space Windu, Kevin Scott Kazame. Those are the creators of Albatross Junction, and they've been it's such a great comic too, because a lot of action and adventure, and if you're into creatures and aliens and so forth, then this is going to be the comic for you guys. Um, and with this, in the comic, you have uh, the aliens that come in. Like one of the creatures is a Dybbuk, and man, this Dybbuk is kind of like a badass creature on, you know, kind of like Thing and Hulk and all that on steroids, man. So they and Anthony and Kevin also do what's called comic book creation live, and so they'll show you guys what they're drawing, what they're inking, what they're coloring, and so forth. And at that time, if you're around and you catch what we're talking about at the time and so forth, and then everything pertains to uh the comic book as well. I mean, we go off on tangents, which is what I'm going to do as well. So fair warning that anything kind of goes within uh tonight's live. And but one of the biggest things that again, stories from the bar, stories from my family tales, stories of, things that I've been through, things that I've seen in bars, and I'm sure everybody's had their fair share of, stories in bars as well. And for those of you who are watching the live tonight and or are gonna watch it later, you know, let me know in the comments and tell me about your
Mundo
bar experiences and so forth. Anthony, what is up? This is Space Window.
going down to
Anthony,
Mundo Town.
Mundo Town. Come on down.
What is going on? How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well, sir. I'm feeling a lot better than I was before.
Oh, good. You're sounding a lot better. That's really good news.
Yeah, a lot of good news, man. So I was telling everybody how you are the creator or co-creator of Albatross Junction, and again, Kevin is also the other half, and you know that my backing, me being so enthusiastic and coming on when you guys were first talking about this comic book and how it's evolved, how things have come along, how we have been talking about different scenarios for my character that's in the comic book, how he runs a bar in Albatross Junction. And so tonight I wanted to share a few stories of some either personal or stories from other people, no names are attached, of course, of things that have happened to them in the bar. So,
That sounds
tonight's
awesome. I
kind
can't
of,
wait to hear it.
yeah, so tonight's gonna be like bar stories, and so hopefully, people will come in and they'll kind of uh participate with us here and tell us some of their bar stories if they've got any, some funny ones, sad ones. I don't care what it is, folks. You come on in, you participate, you tell us what you've been through, good, bad, you know, funny. I mean, it's all good. It doesn't matter. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it's all good because all these stories here, and everybody's been through one thing or another, and everybody, of course, has been to a bar one time or another. And so uh, Anthony and myself, we'd appreciate some of your stories to come in, and that may give us, ideas more for the character development, as well as maybe patrons that come, through my bar in the comic book and give material that way. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Anthony?
Yeah, maybe do you mind if I draw while you tell some stories? If
No,
that's what
go
you're
for it.
planning
Go
to do?
for it. Go for it.
I was thinking before, like I don't really have too many bar stories that I could remember. Like
Hmm.
I remember the times when like people could smoke cigarettes in the bar, and then it stopped in I live in New Jersey. That stopped. That was like 90. That was like the 1990s. That stopped when you could, you could had to go outside, and then you had to be like 25 feet away from the building to smoke your cigarette. So that was weird because the bar was always a place that was filled with smoke. Like if you
Yeah.
come home smelling like smoke, you could be like, I was at the bar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then
Exactly.
like you come home smelling like smoke after that. You're like, well, wait, they don't smoke in the bar anymore. Um, but that's just what happened. Yo, look who's here. Primal is here. What's going on, buddy?
Primal. What's going on, Primal?
Hope you're doing
So,
well tonight, Primal.
yeah, I hope so, man. Hope so. Everybody's getting sick right now, and hopefully you're well and stay safe and all that good stuff, bud. So I'll start out tonight. One of the stories that I remember, I was 16 years old and tired as always. Yeah, I bet, bud.
You have a bar
Uh,
story when you were 16?
Yes, believe it or not, I was still in high school. I was still in high school, man. And this place is not around anymore, but it was called the Cowboy, and it was run by a bandito, dude. And I got to know his son pretty well, until his son passed away and stuff like that. But the manager, Preston, was like super badass, and the bartender, Sonny, and Sonny was really cool because Sonny ended up having a parrot and he would bring that parrot to work with him, right? And the parrot was like cool as hell too, because every now and then you'd hear that parrot squawking. but only when like something really needed to be done. And Sonny's all like, "Hey, hey, dude, Eddie, come on, come over here. We need this stuff, right?" And no matter what happened, I mean, the waitress and Preston and Sonny, everybody pretty much took care of me, man. It was one of the coolest times in my life because uh, I was barbecuing, I was watching vehicles in the parking lot, security. I mean, you
Oh,
name
so
it, I
you
pretty
worked
much
there.
did it. Yeah, I worked there, man. And I did pretty much everything. And then I learned how to bar back and stuff like that. That's a rough and tough job, man.
What was
Bar
the
backing.
craziest thing that happened, or name some funny things that happened when you were like bar backing?
Oh man. One of the stories that I have was here I am at 16 years old and I go in there, right? And I started talking to the gentleman and I said, "Hey, sir, you want a drink? We'd be happy to serve you," and so forth like that. And they had these little eight-liner games inside the bar, and the guy hit like a jackpot or something, right? And so he told the owner, he says, "Hey, how much are you paying this kid right here right now?" And the owner's like, da 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 da, whatever, right? He says, "All right, I'm gonna give you such and such money. This little guy is gonna stay right here next to me because he's lucky." And he's all like, "Come on, son, you play the game for me." I'm all like, "No, sir, I can't. I'm not allowed to." He goes and talks to the owner, and the owner says, "You better do what he says." I'm all like, "Yes, sir." I'm like, "Okay." So here I am playing an eight-liner, right? You're not even supposed to, you can't even touch those things unless you're 21. And here I am 16, and
See, I'm
he's right
surprised you were
there.
able to work like near alcohol when you were 16, because in New Jersey here you have to be 18 to like work in a position where you're like handling, or like if I wanted to be the bar back at the place I was working at, like I wanted to be a waiter, but I was a busboy. And I
Hmm.
asked the place, "Can I be a waiter?" And they were like, you have to be 18. I was 17. And I was like, I couldn't understand it because I was like, I worked as a waiter already in the last place, and then, but we didn't serve alcohol. And
Hmm.
then I worked at a place which served alcohol, and it was called the Waterfront Cafe. It was right near like water. Like people would drive up on their boats and get out and like eat there. It was pretty cool that way. And like they had like a raw bar, so I learned a
Hmm.
little bit about like what that was about. I still don't like raw bar type food, but that they had that there. People would step off the boat, eat, and it was like a place you could make like big tips because there was like, those seafood dishes are like they had something called a clam bake for two, and that cost like
Hmm.
back then, in the 90s, that was like $55 or whatever. And that ended up being a big check if the people got a bottle of wine or something else with dinner. And
Right.
that place had a liquor license over here. I don't know if it's different in Texas, like probably every place has like liquor license, whereas here, not as many. Like not
Yeah.
every place has it.
Right. And apparently I got away with it. I don't know how, but man, it was great though. Felicia's in
Felicia
the
says,
house.
my favorite part of going out to bars was playing pool. Yeah, I remember like there's this
Absolutely.
place called Redheads near here that's also closed. The other place, the waterfront, is closed too. So the Redheads, the Redheads place. I don't know if that was like a chain, but they had a place called Redheads around here, and it was pretty good. Like they'd serve you if you ate there. They had a restaurant side and a side where there was like pool and stuff like that. And the
Yeah.
restaurant side served you, if you sat down for dinner, they served automatically, the roasted garlic with the bread. And the
Oh
roasted garlic
wow.
was like garlic, I guess, put in the oven or something. So the
Uh-huh.
garlic just spread over bread like it was butter. They also
Oh
give you some
wow.
butter. It was delicious, and it was a great appetizer. I really missed that place for that. But they had a pool table nearby, in the other side of the Redheads, and multiple pool tables. That was fun. I did meet my friends to do that a
Yeah,
bunch
that
of
was
times.
that sounded cool. That actually sounded like a place that I grew up with called Mother's Pizza. It was this little pizza place, but it was a big pool hall. And my friends and I right after school, we would go over there and shoot pool and stuff. And we were the only kids in that whole place that were able to stay after hours when they told the rest of the kids to go home. We were the only ones that could stay when the adults' time was there. That we had our own little table, and that's because we got in real good with the lady who owned the place, and we helped her clean up at night. We helped her do this. We would go Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and we would help her with all kinds of things. And come when we turned 21, she gave us all free pitchers of beer, man, and
Oh,
stuff like
nice.
that. Yeah, and then later on down the road, when everybody got into college and stuff, the place closed down or she sold it, and I don't know if it was due to health issues or what, but I mean, there was such a great place to be growing up, and playing pool was the biggest thing. So I grew up playing pool, like you, Felicia, and stuff like that. It was really great, man. Really great place. And so now another thing that comes to mind as far as bar stories. Oh boy, you would see like all these people hitting on each other, and sometimes it would be funny, and sometimes it'd be like super ugly, right? Many of fights broke out because of shit like that. And I was like, whoa, okay, so this person's with this person, but yet this person is liking that person. God dang, it's a fucking dynasty around here.
What, like you could tell like different people because they were like regulars,
Yeah, they were regulars. And
so you kind
and
of
you
you
could
kind of were used to them.
yeah, and you could tell who when they brought their significant others, uh, and then when they brought somebody else, right? And you just kind of like had to shut your mouth and look the other way. And you didn't want to cause too much commotion on anything, because man, everything turned around on itself. You didn't have to really say anything.
Will anybody come in from like the school that you
Uh,
oh, that's a principal, or that's
nah, I want to. It was weird because one of the well, I take it back. I think there was a teacher or two, and and they came in and they had a drink and then they took off. They left and they said hi to me, how I was doing, but um. I got a lot of compliments when I started barbecuing for them and stuff. Like they put me in charge of barbecuing for everybody. And uh man, anytime I cooked, there was nothing left. I was like, Jesus, I'm just, I'm here I am just barely turning 17, cooking on the pit for
you
about
learned
40,
it there, or you already knew how to
no, no,
barbecue?
I've learned. I mean, I've been cooking since I was 10 years old on the ranch, man, you know. And so, all my barbecuing skills just come from learning from aunts and uncles and cooking out on the ranch. So that's another thing. That's another angle, that we can put on my character is, uh in being terms of character development, how he's able to come up with some of these concoctions in terms of food and stuff, on top of having, some of these chemicals that can turn this and turn that and taste like this and taste like that, like a little chemical wizard.
Like
And
like the Joker was a chemical specialist too, when
yeah,
he
yeah.
would throw like acid at Batman all the time. Well, Mundo's not a
So
bad cat. He's not a bad guy in the comic though.
no, 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 not the bad guy. I'm the fun guy. I make everybody's dreams come true, or I shut them down, one or the other.
You dole out frontier justice.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So,
Speaking of,
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to mention to you. I mean, come back to the bar stories for sure, but it just brings to mind something. Are you watching? Have you watched Yellowstone?
No, I haven't started it, but I've been
I
seeing
think
some
you'd really
previews.
like it.
I think so too. I've heard some really good stories about it, so
Because it's
That's
about
one
like
thing.
a ranch. Like you're always talking about your ranch.
Mm-hmm.
This is about a ranch, but it's not in Texas. It's in Montana. But
Yes.
I would assume it's fairly similar. I don't know. It's like a really huge ranch for cattle, and I think it's like partly based on a true family or something. Like it's like family owns a bunch of land in Montana, and
Mm-hmm.
they just have to not only work the ranch but fight to protect this land from lots of dangers and government people and just different people coming in and try to take over. They want
Oh
to
yeah,
build
you.
things on it and things like that, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised what happens on a ranch and so forth, man. And especially like some of those ranches that are near the border where, cartels have taken over. I mean, I feel sorry for those people, man, that lose all that land, or they have to work with the cartels in order to keep their land, you know. So, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. It's a lot of hard work. Ranching's a lot of
Yeah, I
hard
think the
work.
show does a great job of showing that, like
Mm-hmm.
how tough you got to be to like do it, and like how they wake up early and et cetera, et cetera. And then
Mm-hmm.
just like it's like a Sopranos type of situation too. So there's crimes that go on, and they're
Mm-hmm.
covering up the crimes type of thing. So it's really interesting show. I've been kind of caught up in it and watching like as I work, just like got it on, and when something chaotic goes on, it's like a really good, let's say, shootout happens or something, and they do a good
Mm-hmm.
job of the action scenes in the show too. So it's almost like one of those movies like Heat where there's an awesome gun battle. There's some
Right.
like really intense gun battles in this show, so it's really something to see.
Right. See, and something like that would have been way in the past, gun battles and so forth, you
Well, this is, yeah, like I would have thought so too, but this show takes place like now. So,
like now.
everyone's got like
Hmm.
a cell phone and stuff, but still there's
Mm-hmm.
like moments of like a shootout. And then they also do like flashbacks to be like, oh, this is this land in like 1893. And then
Mm-hmm.
they'll show you just a little scene, maybe a 5-minute scene, so you have like a better understanding of what's going on now. But they show you, because that's been in that family for 150 years. So, but even back 100 years ago, it was still in their family. So you recognize the names, but they do a little flashback of like, oh, so you have to assume, oh, this is like the great grandfather or something like that,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
show you a little exploit of whatever that plight is 100 years ago, and just a snippet, and then like you might have to watch like an entire season. You might get a little snippet in another episode of a flashback. It's pretty cool. And actually, the guy who plays, so Kevin Costner plays the main like rancher,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point in the story, he's like 60 years old. Kevin Costner's not too young, but they
And
do
it's
the
funny because he's
flashback.
actually a real life rancher. Not many people
Oh,
realize that.
really? Well, he's
So is Tommy Lee
definitely
Jones.
seems like he knows what he's doing. He's always on a horse and doing
Yeah.
these like cowboy like things. And then they show
Mm-hmm.
him 30 years ago. So they do, flashbacks of all different time periods. So they have like, let's say, uh, he's got kids that are like, let's say 40 years old. So when they do
Mm-hmm.
the flashback of Kevin Costner at 30 years old, it's a different actor. And then the
Mm-hmm.
kids are all 10 or they're teenagers, and the actor who plays the young Kevin Costner is also great. Like it's great when they do the flashback at that time, because that dude is also very serious. He seems like uh just spot on casting for, he looks like Kevin Costner. You would recognize him when you see him. You're like, you could tell he's in other things.
Right.
You'd recognize him in other things too. But yeah, anyway. So back to your
And,
bar stories.
and that's great because when you have these different castings like that, that's what makes a show really worth watching because you have people that actually look like the actor when
Oh
they were
yeah,
younger and so
he
forth.
does.
And that really sells the deal on a bunch of stuff. And but yeah, I mean even like Tommy Lee Jones, he's a rancher. what do you call I'm trying to think who else. There's quite a few of them actually. Even the singer George Strait, he's a rancher. Um, he's got several thousands of acres, uh, close to San Antonio. And Tommy Lee Jones, I don't know where his land is. Uh, let's see who else. Jones. Let's see. I'll probably remember a little bit later who else has ranch land, but there's quite a few actors who actually have ranch land, um, and a ranch. What's his name from Las Vegas? Um,
Elvis.
no, not Elvis. Jeez. I could see his face and I just can't remember his name at the moment. Oh, damn it. The singer. Not Elvis, but the other one. Um, Jeez. Come on, people, help me out here. I'm having a brain fart right now. Yeah,
The singer in Las Vegas. It doesn't really narrow it down.
I know, right? He was Ellen's love interest in the National Lampoon movie. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, it'll come back to me a little bit later.
Felicia says Sinatra.
Sinatra? No, Felicia, not Sinatra. It's but we're close. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not Sinatra, but it's
Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton. There you go. Wayne Newton. God,
Are you
I can't
serious?
believe.
Did I just guess it?
Yes, you just did. Wayne Newton, that's it right now. He's got a ranch out there in Las Vegas. And I think from what I understand, it's a couple of 100 acres. And he's got it open. I don't know if he's got it open to the public or if it's like invitation only or something like that, but he does have horses. So I think he breeds horses. And but yeah, it's pretty cool, to hear stuff like that and to know that some of these actors appreciate, good land and what land really means to uh have like that. It's kind of like your backyard, and to appreciate something like that because one of these days, just like Albatross Junction, this world's gonna be nothing but, technology and concrete and so forth and nothing left, vegetation.
I like at the bar that you worked at. Did you ever see anyone come in on a horse?
No. No, but that would be kind of cool though. I mean, I saw all kinds of iron horses,
What's an
motorcycles.
iron horse? Like something inside that would buck people?
No, Iron Horse was motorcycles, that place,
Oh,
because it was run by the Banditos. There was lots of bikers coming through. Lots of bikers. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, fun place to be with when you're that young. But yeah, no, Sonny and the waitress, man, and Preston, they all took care of me, dude. And I got offered everything under the sun you can imagine.
like Coke?
Never took any, but I was always offered after doors were shut,
You
you know.
should have taken it and sold it.
Oh no, no, no. I wasn't
Your
gonna get
life would have
hooked on
taken
any
a
of that
different
stuff.
course.
Yeah, probably could have. I probably wouldn't been here on Mundo Mondays.
Conjugal Mundo Mondays.
Very right. Magical Mundo Mondays. Oh my God. So, um, well, let me tell you, we're gonna break off from the bar stories for just a minute, and this kind of goes back to the comic book a little bit, but I saw a YouTube channel that's called, I don't know if you've seen it or not, it's called Create Sci-Fi by Anthony Ferraro.
Nope,
And what
haven't
he
seen it.
no, okay. So let me school you a little bit on this guy, and he does all kinds of kind of like sci-fi props, right? And he does all these low budget sci-fi fan films. So far they look pretty decent, and I watched a few of his Star Wars ones. Um, he's got one that has the drunk the um he's got one that has the drunk Jedi.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's called a Mandalorian and Drunk Jedi or something like that. It's great, man.
Is it an old Jedi that's drunk or a young drunk
No,
Jedi?
it's an older Jedi. He plays the old Jedi, right? And I don't know who plays the Mandalorian in there, but of course it's not the main Mandalorian character, but just a Mandalorian, you know. And it's great for being this a fan film for what he did and how he came about. And give you a little background on his stuff is he goes to the dollar store and he makes a lot of blasters and other sci-fi props from the dollar store stuff and just other different things. And he even made a lightsaber flask, and it was great, man. I mean, the stuff that he does is kind of awesome. Um, you got to check him out, man. If you can, when you have a chance to. It's called Create Sci-Fi on YouTube, and he's a big guy, but man, he's really interesting. To the least of his abilities. His abilities are phenomenal. His painting is unbelievable. Some of the blasters that he's done, even though they're not, true functioning blasters, they look great as far as the props go. And then, of course, he used that After Effects program to do the effects of the blasters and so forth. He really does a great job. So hats off to him for me checking that out. And I just kind of happened to stumble upon it, looking for a few things to talk about, on the channel here that's going to pertain to the
I mean, you can always like pull it up if you want to share your screen and like show a video that you want
um
to show. You could like talk about it.
yeah, if I was on the computer I would, but right now I'm on
Oh,
the
you're on your
on the
phone?
phones. Yeah. I didn't want to have any lag or anything today, so
Yeah, voice
uh
sounds good. It's clear.
yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight sounds great. We're getting ready for a freeze here come Saturday.
Oh, really? I think the same thing's going to happen here.
Yeah, it's gonna get like in the 20s, man, over here. So I wonder if we'll get snow or not. We only get snow like every couple of 100 years.
I think it's
Felicia,
been a
you
while
still
since
here
we
with
had a
us?
white Christmas here.
And Primal, you're not asleep yet, are you? I know my voice can get some monotonous sometimes, man, so I try to kind of bring it up and down sometimes. So yeah, and again, so going back to some of the bar stories, man, and one of the things that had happened was, like my dad and my grandfather that used to own a bar in Kingsville, and my grandparents kind of mismanaged it a little bit, so my parents, lost the bar um after a while, and I was kind of looking for it a couple of months ago, and to my surprise, they repainted it. So I didn't recognize the building, and I was passing it up the whole time when I kind of looked for it online, and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute! I saw that building, and it's because it used to be a yellow color, a mustard
I think
yellow
you had sent
color."
me a picture of it one time.
Right. I did. I actually did, but now the color has totally changed. It's all totally brown. And I'm all like, what? So when I went to go look for it, Kelly and I went to go look for the building and see if I could talk to anybody, if they'd let me in and take a look at the place, maybe get some pictures and stuff, you know. And it had totally changed up. So now I'm gonna have to try to see if I can get a hold of somebody, and when I have some more time to go over there and see if I can get pictures, look at it, and so forth.
The Mundo inspection.
That's right, the Mundo inspection. I've got honking in the background over here, so like, hey, Mundo's in the house. Okay, Felicia's still with us. Good. Thank God she's still
She's
with
got
us.
little snowflake symbols, so she's cold as well.
Yeah,
Well, I got
she
a
got it.
mat that's like for it's supposed to be for outside, and I put
Mm-hmm.
it inside because I'm sitting in the garage right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this mat that's underneath the desk here, and I plug it
Mm-hmm.
in. Like it needs 120 volts, so I have a line coming from the garage door open. Like that's the one that has the 120 volt. Because if I plug it into something else, it's gonna short out shit. So I plug it in to the garage door thing, and it heats up. It's supposed to melt snow and ice, but I just have it inside so I can like put my feet on it. Cause I think
Yeah,
that's where, like when you're cold, like when you're in the garage, like the
I'm in the
coldness
garage
comes
right
from
now
the
myself.
floor. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like if your ground is cold, like
Mm.
coldness comes from the ground. So I'm like, if I sit with my feet on this mat, which I'm doing right now, maybe I won't get cold. And so far, so good. So far, so good on that.
Oh, that's good, man. That's cool. 'Cause yeah, it's cold in here in the garage, and I don't have my jacket with me, but I mean I do, but I don't need it on at this point in time right now because I'm not that cold, you know. I've got a sweater and a shirt over the sweater right now at the moment, and I came into the garage because Kelly and the girls are clearing out Kaylee's room, you know, our oldest. She's coming in on Wednesday, so they're trying to get the room cleaned up for her.
Like, how do they junk up her room?
Oh, you know, Kelly's wanted to do all her arts and crafts stuff, so she put all her arts and crafts stuff in there and basically filled up the room because she's got like boxes and
She took
boxes of the
over.
stuff.
She just went to college and then she didn't have a room when she got back.
Yeah, basically, because Kelly wants to turn that room into a workroom. She wants to turn part of the garage into a workroom, so she's gonna have all these workrooms, right? And I'm gonna be stuck on a little bitty table all by myself.
Maybe you could build like some kind of cart that like takes up a bunch of room, but has its wheel. It's like you can wheel it around. So if
Oh,
like they don't want it, in the on that side of the garage, like I'll move it to the other side of the garage. It's
that's my
just
workbench, dude. My workbench has got wheels, man. And
yeah,
I put this on bitch. I had wheels put on it, you know, because that way I could roll it wherever I wanted to, and
that's
if I
awesome.
needed to, you know, move it around, I can move it around. But we're getting some stuff up in the garage too, so we're making a little bit of progress in here to get things, you know, done and stuff. So yeah, a little bit at a time. Yeah, a little bit at a time goes a long way. So back to bar stories.
I
So
want to hear about a
any
fight.
a fight. Okay, well, I was let's see. I was over I don't remember the name of the bar that I went to, but it had two sections. It had a Tejano section and it had a Western, you know, country section, right? Or kind of half Western country and half techno, you know, shit like that. And then they had the Tejano side. Well,
What does
I had
Tahano mean?
seen some Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And, and so the Spanish side, you had some of these people going back and forth between the Spanish side and the other side. And of course, you know, they're drinking and so forth. And I see these group of people, and man, I tell you, not more than probably about an hour goes by. They're already eyeballing each other like you know, you effing this and that. And um, probably about an hour of me being there and seeing all these people already. I'm all like, oh, dude, here we go. Next thing I know, right next to me, and I've got two beers in my hands, one for my buddy and one for me. and I can just feel that tension blowing up already. And the guy was getting ready to throw down, and I just happened to move probably about 10 feet away, and next thing I heard, clack! Oh, that dude just
What
went
was that? A
off on this
bottle?
dude, huh?
A bottle hit him or a fist?
No, I mean these were just straight on fist going, but you could hear the clack, clack. I mean, you could hear the actual hits right there. And these two guys were just going at it. It took four bodyguards, or four guards, just to pull them apart, and another four police officers to get them out. I'm all like, damn, that's a good night.
So that's not the bar you worked at if you were there drinking.
No, no,
That's
no, no.
somewhere
That wasn't
sometime
the bar.
later.
No, that was at a bar that I went to, not the bar that I worked at. There was hardly any fights at the bar that I worked at. I was really truly amazed at how well the establishment was handling a lot of things. And a lot of these older folks that went over there, though, man, they were just like wanting to talk to people. And it was like, okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me. Some nights I got some pretty good damn tips out of it, man. I think one night I ended up with a $200 tip. Wasn't bad for one night's work. Not bad at all. What kid a 16-year-old kid would end up with a $200 tip in their pocket for one night?
Only if you suck something.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, like I always missed when there was luckily missed. Like I used to go to this bar, and then I found out, like, I was sitting there one night, and with my friends at the normal table we kind of sat at this area of the bar, and then they had told us that, like, just the night before, like, somebody was stabbed there. It was like somebody we knew as well, like somebody got stabbed there, and it was like some kind of fight. Thank God I missed that one. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was not really involved in any either, thank God. Just like always not well, I wasn't at the bar that much, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of funny, man, when you grow up around bars. A lot of the things are similar and a lot of things are different in environments and in different music and stuff. I'll tell you, music really plays a majority role in the bar scene, because depending on what kind of music that you have, really translates, excuse me, really translates to what kind of mood people are going to be in. So if you're playing, some feel good music in the bar, you got a live band, they're pretty good. You got people drinking, having a good time, everybody's laughing. It's going to be a great atmosphere to be in. Everybody's going to, be having a good time and so forth. But then you got some of this music that like nobody cares for, and people are just talking to themselves or talking to other people, but not really kind of getting the happy vibes that they should be getting there. You tend to run into a little bit of trouble in terms of, okay, this place sucks, this place is lame. Let's go somewhere else. And so you got all these people that are jumping in and out of these bars that, because you like I said, music is a really big part of where you're gonna go, you know, even especially if you meet your friends at this place, and you're there to have a good time and see your friends. But and correct me if I'm wrong, people. I mean, and especially for you, the audience, correct me if I'm wrong. But if you go to a bar, you're there to have a drink, and you basically hear some shitty ass music. I think you're going to have a drink and you're going to walk out of there, find another place that's actually got some good rhythm and beat and some good music to listen to while you're talking to your friends. I don't know about you, but I've done plenty of bar hopping, and some places good, some places really sucked. You know. And so again, that could translate into, Albatross Junction there where, you know, like you were saying, some of the bands that you're gonna have in there are popular bands, right? And so forth.
Right.
Um uh and what was it like
Well, I remember like when I visited my friends in Baltimore a few times. It's like they would want to go. They would like they weren't even gay, but they want to go to the gay nightclub at the toward the end of the night when because there was like better music there. They said. And
see?
I mean, I agreed with them. I was like, once we got there, I was like, it was better music. Like, it's like, so you're right. Like, the music it can make such a difference that make people change which place they're going to. Um,
Uh-huh.
like I'll tell you, the one bar story that happened, for me kind of made me like not really like bars that much, I guess, which is, that I always liked house parties. So
Hmm.
I liked when, I got a house with a bunch of friends and we were renting the house or no, this is when I think I had the house and we were renting some parts of it out to friends and I owned the house with another friend and we all kind of lived there. We threw house parties. And I liked when we had that party at the house. You could do whatever you wanted to. Then I started noticing people would like want to leave and it was like 10, 11 o'clock and I couldn't understand. I'm like, why, what's I thought we're having a great time, like, oh, we're gonna go to the bar. They're like,
Hmm.
you could come, whatever. I'm like, okay. So like we would like stop this house party, which was great, and drive to a bar where you had to drive, so that's not good, and all
Right.
that. And, basically, like it was like the whole party was ending once people decided that they wanted to go to the bar. So once we became 21, and that was what happened, I didn't really like that. So when we were at the bar, this is what I didn't really like about it. It's like at the house party, you could get rowdy. There's a lot of times I would like get so wasted you'd kind of fall down to the floor or tackle
Yep.
somebody, right? So I
Been there, done
remember
that.
being at the bar and I kind of ended up on the floor. I was like on my knee or slide across the floor, what I like things I used to do at the house party.
Shit, that's a good
And
night.
and then they came up to me and they're like, "You have to leave. Like you can't be here doing that." And I'm like,
Really?
"Dude, doing what? Like you can't go down to the floor." And what I realized is like you can't like appear drunk. You know what I mean? That's
Uh-huh.
kind of like the rule of the bar. Like, you can't like appear like wasted or drunk. This is what they told me.
Oh,
And
wow.
like I was like, what? Like this isn't what the bar is for though, like for people that are like wasted. But apparently not. You can't be like dropped down to the floor wasted. They don't like that.
Wow.
And then I was at
Wow.
another place where it was like a nightclub like in New York. And in New York City. And I was, on some drugs and like I was sitting down and like I mean there was 500 people there, but somehow they picked me out. They come up to me, they go, they kind of shook me. They're like, "You can't close your eyes." They said you can't close your can't close your eyes. I'm like, close my eyes. I was, when you're like on those type of drugs, like you want to like maybe it's kind of like there's music and you're having like almost a daydream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And like I'm seeing shit. Like I know my eyes are closed, but I'm still seeing shit. And then like you gotta open your eyes. You can't close your eyes. So I didn't like that type of stuff. Felicia says
Yeah,
house
Felicia.
parties were the best. So fun.
Cops would inevitably break it up. Yep. I have been to so many house parties. It is unreal, man. Uh, I remember one of the funniest ones that my buddy, my best friend that passed away from brain cancer, we were at this house party in the middle of nowhere, right? And this guy, his parents were out of town, and so we went to his party, and we had freaking, I want to say like 3 or 4 huge ice chests full of jungle juice and I don't know how many bottles of liquor and tequila and all, man. We were just mixing it up and everything, right? And my buddy got so toasted, he decides to go piss on a electrified fence. My God. So you
What
hear is,
happens if you do that? Your dick goes on
oh
fire?
yeah, it travels up, my friend. That electricity travels up. Let's put it that way. My all I hear is my friend going, ah!
Oh
God, we
my
ran
god.
over there. I had to kick him. I had to kick him away from the fence just because he wasn't like on the fence,
He was like
but
jiggling though?
but
He
the
was like
stream was hitting
affected?
the stream was hitting the fence and the electricity was traveling up the stream because it was liquid, right? And basically, almost electrocuted him. And like, oh my God, dude, we were laughing so hard. That was a great night. We had, oh man, I think about 3 o'clock in the morning, we were still drinking and going and oh, I probably killed about a whole ice chest of jungle juice myself, man. I think at that time I could drink like a, fish. And so we were going on and I heard horror stories afterwards about when his parents got home. Like, oh shit.
You ever
Oh
been in a
shit.
bar that was like raided by the cops?
No, not really. Not I mean, I've had I've been in a bar where cops have come in and took people out, but that's because they were really uh cutting up so much that that they couldn't have them there anymore. Also, like, yeah, they're getting kind of violent. Oh well. I just sit right next to my friends and like, dude, just don't even pay attention. You won't even get touched. And
How
but
about like weapons coming out? Ever see weapons coming out?
I've seen a few. I've seen this one guy that brought in a knife and he was about to go after somebody, but they caught him fairly quickly. Um, that wasn't not a good situation though. I think it was I had suspicions it was kind of like gang related or whatever, because you didn't see that like too often. Like now, I mean, damn, everybody and their grandmother's coming up with shit like that everywhere now. But it wasn't as prominent when I was growing up as it is now. And now I'm happy just having a couple of beers with some good friends at home. I'm happy go lucky, dude. You know? It's the best kind of fun for me. Oh,
Yeah, like when you have your fire going,
dude. Oh
stuff like
man,
that.
speaking
I
of
like that.
fire, yes. Speaking of fire, I saw the video with the lightsabers that you did with the fire in the background. Oh my God, dude.
Fire?
Yes, you were outside in the
Oh,
backyard with the
outside,
lightsabers.
yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, the little fire pit, and you had it going, man. I was all like, dude, I wish I was there. I'm like, damn. I was all like, that was such a great show that you did with the sabers right there, dude. And the fire pit behind you when you were swinging both the
Oh, I must
sabers.
have had the double saber for that guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And that was pretty kick ass, dude. I really enjoyed that video. I did. It's like, I mean, where parents think they're asleep, or passed out in somewhere. Yeah. Man, I got so toasted one time and I left a buddy of mine's house and I was on the way home 3 o'clock in the morning, driving in my truck and a dog runs across the only little bridge that you can cross over. And I went bawling down. I probably about 30 feet ditch, man, a 30-foot ditch, going down on two wheels on my little red Chevy Cheyenne. Almost flipping
Shit.
the truck, but didn't. I was so
What's a
thankful that I
Chevy
didn't.
Cheyenne? A van?
No, it's a little truck, and to kind of give you you ever seen any of those Chevy Colorados
Yes,
um
that's the size of
trucks?
it.
Okay, that's pretty close to what the Cheyenne was. Yeah, that's pretty close. But they don't even make the Cheyennes anymore, man. That was a badass little truck, dude. That thing
Yeah, I don't
went from
remember that name at all.
that little truck and me went to hell and back and then some. I didn't trade that thing in until I had almost 300,000 miles, dude. It was a good little truck. It was a
That's
good
awesome.
little truck.
I know you can get a
Uh,
lot of miles out of those pickups. That like, especially if you don't really use them too hard.
Dude, I run mine to the ground big time. Like I go Baja like a couple of weeks ago when I went to the ranch when it was raining. Ooh, dude. Oh my God, I ruined my suspension and shit.
What
I
does that
gotta
mean?
get a
Go
whole.
Baja? Just go buck wild in the mud?
Yup.
So that's a
Yep.
play truck. That's like a play truck for you.
Oh no. It's an everything truck, not just a play truck. Yeah. That truck, man, has gone through hell and back too, dude. But I mean, there's like some deep rivets. I'm okay. Give you an idea, okay? And you guys in the audience here, y'all need to use your imaginations. You're in a truck. It's raining. You're going down a muddy caliche road that's got ruts out from trucks digging deep into the earth, right? And it's red dirt. And you got little chunks of rock here and there, and you're basically going 30 miles an hour because I mean it is super bumpy going there. And then when you get into these deep, deep, thick ruts where all these big trucks have been through, and they're just, rooster tailing the mud and so forth. Oh my God, the ride is unbelievable. You're just I mean, your suspension is getting killed, man, because you're just trying not to get, not to bury your axle in this mud, and you're going like 100 miles an hour and trying not to keep on the road. And unbelievable ride, dude, unbelievable ride. And then, you're slipping and sliding at times, so you gotta, adjust here and adjust there. And let's see what is Felicia say. It's like where your parents think you're at sleepover and you're passed out in the fields. Felicia. So yeah, I mean it's a crazy ride, man. It's a crazy ride going through there. But um, I used to chase pigs in my truck too, man. They'd uh, they'd run across the Sendero, and I'd do about 60 trying to head them off, and they'd run across and get to the thicket. So here I am doing 60 miles an hour trying to get to the other Sendero where I think they're going to come out. And I'm coming around these corners and I got my back wheels kind of hopping up and down on the back while I'm pushing the gas. And here I am, I catch up to these pigs, man. They run right across. I almost hit one and they're just running and that was a lot of fun to me too, doing something like that at the ranch. So there lies another story that you can that we can put in there in my characters thing that on the ranch chasing pigs and getting that bacon. So um
Yeah, I think pigs are extinct in our story. You have to like clone bacon or something. You
well,
clone it.
no, yeah, that's why I'm saying, this, remember how we were talking about that in my family there was generations that used to talk about all these stories, so I bring all these stories to the bar, to for people to like, ooh, the big storyteller. And but yeah, of course, it's all extinct and at that time, but I think we came up with some bacon something.
You like cloned bacon or fake
Y-
bacon? I think you had like different levels
yeah,
of the
something like
intent.
that.
Like, one was like cost more because it was like clone bacon, and then another one's just like fake bacon, straight up fake
Right. So it's
imitation
you
type
got
of
to read
thing,
the book, people. Got to read the
like
book,
turkey
man.
bacon.
You'll hear it. Yeah. And we're gonna come up with some more recipes and stuff like that. So I think for like different stories, we'll come up with different food items. Yeah, different food items. That is too funny. So what are you drawing right there right now?
This is from issue 3 of Albatross Junction. This is an image of our main character, Donovan. So there he is right there. So I'm just kind of putting in some
Hmm.
detail up, and this is like going to be an area for the masthead up top
Hmm.
there, and some words. So I'm just kind of adding some detail. This upper area is going to be like colored differently than the rest. So
Hmm.
it's farther away. There's like the inks there are more slender than the main image there. So I'm just kind of putting in some detail.
It's looking great so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good. So, so anybody that's out there and they're listening to this, and the ones that are gonna watch this a little bit later, um, again, I want to ask y'all, in the comments, tell us some of your funny, bar stories if you have any, and or if maybe you went out, with a friend of yours, and there were some situations at a bar you kind of like got into or something like that, because all this material and all of this stories and so forth can potentially make it into the comic book, and and Kevin, always looking and always listening to uh individual stories and so forth to kind of come and play into the comic book and the world of Albatross, and and my character, of again, of course, trying to be a storyteller as well as a bartender and everything else. uh we're gonna have some interesting stories to tell in the comic book, and we're gonna make it interesting. I mean, it's not gonna be boring whatsoever, and uh a lot of these characters that have come in, they're gonna be coming in and they're gonna be like, ooh, oh man, these stories are like awesome, and of course these stories are passed down generation to generation and so forth. And like with all things though, some things may be skewed and some things may be not and so forth. And in Albatross, as Mundo comes in to play and he talks to the patrons, he serves the drinks and so forth, knowing that he gets to know his patrons on a personal level, and of course not only do these stories help him have an interesting place, but it also gives hope to the people that come into the bar, like they have something to look forward to in terms of not to kind of escaping of what's really the reality around them in terms of it being frozen, not being able to go outside and have the sun beat down on them, and know that it's so gloomy that the escape is an important part of their lives to escape this reality. And of course, a lot of people are like that too. But, we want to reiterate that the escape for, everybody that comes into Mundo's bar is to have a good time, to hear these stories and like release all of the bad stuff. much like us. I mean, we could put ourselves in there, but at the same time, this is fantasy, people. This is for us to escape reality as well when you read the comic book. And I found it very interesting that Dobbs and you know and the relation that's there, with the aliens and the Dybbuk and so forth. The whole how do I want to explain it? The relationship between the Dybbuk and Alba and of course, the main characters uh are symbiotic because, without any one of those characters, you lose a lot of what really goes on in the comic book itself. And each one has synergy to one or the other. And in terms like the Dybbuk, badass creature, and uh he the creature is kind of interesting in a way that he can grow as far as when he gets these energy bursts that after he what is it? I think he killed like a generator or something like that. Just
Oh yeah,
smashes it. He smashes it to
like the
pieces.
fusion energy, like the nuclear style energy, like he kind of
Yeah,
yeah,
and then he drew the energy in from that, right?
yeah.
And so that, I mean, that was unbelievable that he could just absorb all that energy. And you're like thinking, oh shit, okay, how are we gonna stop this thing? So, stuff like that, man. I mean, that's what makes it so interesting because you have one avenue of trying to do something and you get railroaded, you get blocked. I mean, that creature is like, oh, damn, how are we gonna get through this some bitch without really killing ourselves? That there is the question, people. And so, you got people that are coming in through the bar, and like I said, Mundo is listening to everything. He's listening to everybody. He's providing drinks, entertainment, and everything else so far. But what a lot of people don't realize as well is that Mundo is also listening to what's going on. He's listening to all these things, and he's learning on what can be done, what can't be done, where this thing is going, where that thing is going, who's going here, who's going there, who's getting fucked up, who's not. Mundo is knowing a lot of shit here, and people just don't realize how he the way he portrays himself in the comic is going to be pretty cool because he may appear kind of docile at first and so forth, and you won't get to see that side of him until, I guess pretty much later when, the character development comes into play where he shows all sides of his facets in terms of being a diamond. I mean, this dude is like, you know, a rock, and he's just, you turn one part of the stone, he's shiny. You turn another part of the stone, it's dull. You turn another part of the stone, and it's kind of like in between, a little rough. And then you turn another facet, and it's smooth. So, you know, Mundo's character is going to really come and shine, off and on, and you're going to see all these different facets of Mundo throughout the story along with the main characters, and Alba, she's gonna play, a pretty good chunk of um, character development as well in within the story itself. And of course, I'm not gonna ruin too much for anybody because what I've talked about so far, this is just issue basically parts of issue 1 and 2, which is already out. So, I'm not giving anything away for those of you thinking that I am. No, no, I'm not doing that. So, I'm going to, stick to my guns and make sure that, things are being withheld for a reason. Anthony and Kevin worked so super hard on this comic book, and it would be a sin for me to even, think about doing anything of ruining anything, any stories and any part of the stories And again, I'm just doing telling you bar stories, but this is just character development for Mundo, in within the comic book. And so I'm not really giving anything away because in the long run, what Kevin and Anthony do for any character, is ultimately, their decisions and so forth. And I just provide a little background entertainment, background entertainment, because Mundo is in the house.
And
And
Mundo's
again,
trading information in the on the black market, maybe in Albert in Pikeburg.
mm, nah, there we go. Maybe not. And again, like I said, when I first started the vid tonight, uh, R2 was going to be with me, but R2 decided he needed a recharge, so R2 needed to recharge his batteries for a little bit. So he ain't around somewhere. He's around somewhere, but Lord knows where he's at. Squawking around somewhere. Should have plugged him in, but no, I just gotta switch some batteries out on him, and
Do
I
you and
just
your
didn't have.
wife ever go to the bar to like dance or anything nowadays?
Yeah, we actually have gone to. There was a bar. It's called the Ranch right now. They changed it, and it used to be a pretty cool, mellow place, and now it's kind of like, why do we even come here? You know? And that last time we went, we had an okay time until these girls took over our table, and because we went out to dance on the dance floor, and when we came back, they took over and wouldn't give us our table back. So we're like, no, let's just go ahead and leave. It kind of ruined the rest of the night for us. Um, these ladies, young girls, were a little inconsiderate, so we just decided to go ahead and call it a night. Otherwise, we would have gotten in trouble. My wife was about ready to squab. She was ready to throw down, man. I'm all like, no, come on, it
About
ain't
to
worth
teach
it.
those twats a lesson.
She would have. My wife can squab, man. She can squab, I tell you. And she won't hold nothing back when she goes off. I mean, don't piss her off. She's part Irish, man. So you got a red-headed Irish girl, man. Watch out. You better be good to her. Nah, I love my wife, man. I mean, she's cool as fuck. I love her. I love her to death. And she supports the Star Wars stuff, so gotta love the wife, man. Gotta love a wife that can support your Star Wars habit.
And your comic book
Mundo,
habit and your beer habit and your whatever else.
yeah, whatever else. It's funny. Yeah, she supports a lot of my bad habits, man. God bless her. I
Or
love
she
her.
tolerates.
Yeah, she tolerates it. She really does tolerate it, man. But I'm love the fact that she wants to be creative and she wants to do a lot of creative work type stuff, and uh, that's one of the reasons why I'm working so hard to try to get her space, set up so that she can do things and have fun doing those and so forth. And so we can really support each other in terms of being creative and doing certain things. And but one of the things that I never thought that in my lifetime would be a part of something like this, Anthony. And I think you and Kevin, I have to constantly thank you and Kevin for allowing me to be a part of this. Uh, you know, with me
You're
collecting
part since the
comics.
beginning.
Yeah, Been that long, huh? It doesn't even seem like that long, man.
Yeah, Felicia, I think that would be like a really good thing for Mundo to be warning people about, like, because there's in not in this issue 3, but in issue 4, there's another like Dybbuk attack where like a family kind of gets it right at the beginning. So yeah, I think there'll be like plenty to warn people about because there will
Yeah.
be attacks that will be like known about. So Mundo will probably be passing that on as because the information Mundo passes is like most of the time it's to help. It's to help the city or it's to help like the town, because everyone's very supportive of each other, like especially in the town that Mundo's in. It's called Pikeburg. And they're
Hmm.
like kind of war ravaged. They're not like the winners of the recent war. But in the first issue, when those people went up into space, that was like those people were from Mundo's town. So yeah, he will be warning people like when they come into the bar of like that danger for sure.
Hmm.
That the big danger.
Yep. And if they're gonna go after him, I might as well give him a nuclear meltdown. No, no, the solar flare.
How much is your laugh worth?
Right? Or I can like if I hear somebody, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go after this Dybbuk. I'm gonna kill him. Well, here you go, my friend. Here's a solar flare.
You'll need
It's on
this.
the house. I know I won't see you ever again.
But it kind of makes sense because at the same time you like want like your character would like want somebody to be successful to killing it, so you'll like give them a free drink, maybe they'll kill it.
Well, here's the thing. Now, if they get the free drink and they kill it and they are successful in killing it, then I have to make up a whole new freaking drink for that shit,
Yeah,
right?
they have to be like a
Like
celebrity in your bar.
like an out of this world type drink. Yeah, a celebrity drink. Like it would be a celebrity drink. Ooh,
Because it'd be like in the old days of like killing a dragon, like they'd be like a dragon slayer.
Yoda Drago. Oh, wait a minute. Damn it, I just had it in my head. Damn it. The Drago dub. In the Drago dub is kind of like a dragon, but and the dub is like for short for Dybbuk. So it's like the dragon Dybbuk drink.
Yeah, you might need that drink like even without somebody defeating it because it'll bring in some money,
Huh?
keep the rumor going, like play on people's fears a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We have plenty of time to talk about it, put it into play. Oh, let's see. Ooh, the Star Killer. The Star Killer. It's funny. Right after the lightsaber. Oh man.
Oh, Felicia, this is main character Donovan. I was zoomed in, kind of doing this background there, but that's what I was drawing. This guy just mad here.
Oh, she asked if the saber ever made it to Germany.
It finally made it. It finally made it like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks
Oh wow.
ago. They
Awesome.
successfully got it. So thank you.
Yay! Awesome.
Yeah, they got it. They
Awesome.
were happy. They were very happy. They had to pay like all these fees though. So for a couple days there was a little hairy. Like they had to pay like $90 to, I don't know, taxes or something. I mean, I only put on the box that it was worth 200,
Mm-hmm.
So imagine paying like $90 like for a $200 item, and then they also paid like a lot for the shipping. That's
Wow.
a very expensive. I mean, Germany makes it hard to send something to them.
Yeah.
Like the stickers on the first box, I got it back. Weirdly, I got it back, and it says like box length too long, or
Mm-hmm.
box length something like that. Out of I forget how, like, the wording they put there.
Oh wow.
It's like out of the realm type of thing of like what they accept, but that's just weird. So
That is
yeah, like Saber
crazy.
stuff going to Germany, that long type of box is like they do not like that box. Even though I tried to make it, because I had another box come in like that, where they said something problem with the dimensions of the box, like dimensions out of the, forget the term they used, off the scale or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very light. It's like a pound, so it's not the weight; it's the dimensions of the box. They just don't like that long box.
Right.
Pretty
Think the
silly.
rifle's in there or something.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Too funny. So let's see. Any more bar stories? Let's see. How about you, Felicia? You have any bar stories? Hmm? And let's see. Primal still with us? I don't know if he's still with us or not. He
Primal's too
may.
young to go to the bar, I think.
Yeah. He probably passed
He's
out
not
right
like you
now.
going to the bar at 16, like working at a bar.
Did make the Volkswagen pretty compact. Felicia.
It got expensive. I remember it got expensive. Like I would go there to the bar. I remember at a time it was like, the 90s. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember it being like, I mean, you could get away with $20, but like that really wasn't the norm. It was more like $40, like 42, 44, right? I mean, you're giving some
Yeah.
tips. You're buying, if you were like me, you're buying like drinks, not so much beers. I was buying drinks. But
Yeah.
most of the time it was like 60, to be honest. And when me and my friends started talking about that, started, discussing like how much we're spending at the bar, I was like, wait, it's been like $60 like every night? Like, holy shit.
Oh, that's
Like you could buy
nothing, man.
like because sometimes you're buying like, you're buying your friend some beer, or you're buying your friend some
Yeah,
drinks, you're buying yourself some drinks, you give them a tip. Then it's 60
man.
bucks. I remember that. So now it must be so much more. Cause like I said, I'm talking like it's like the year 2000 or whatever that is.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot to spend. I remember thinking like at the time for 60 bucks, you could get like an eighth of like really good weed. So I was thinking like, wow, in one night, you're going to spend like 60 bucks at the
Dude,
bar. That sounds out of whack. Like an
when my
eighth of
friends
weed
and
will
I would
last you a while.
when my friends and I would go drinking at the bar, dude, the 200 was the minimum.
Wow. See what I'm talking about?
200.
That's a lot of money to go, right? It's like you
Yeah.
couldn't go every night. Like, how are you going to
Yeah.
be some kind of alcoholic when it's 200?
No, dude, we went every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, man. We drank like fish, dude. Each of us could kill an 18 pack plus a bottle. Easy, easy. I mean, we were drinking like fish, dude. And, we'd go outside, chunk it up, go drink some more. Oh man, it was like we'd be drunk for like 3 days straight, man. Crazy, dude. And I mean, and we would pay like, okay, so like I would get the first round, then my friend would get the next round, then my other friend would get the next round. So we go round and round, and so each round probably about $30 each round, right? And I mean, after the, eighth or ninth beer, I mean, we lost count. We just kept drinking. Even if we had mixed drinks, whatever, it didn't matter. I mean, we just kept going. And there was a bar that I went to, a place called Studio 54. that's no longer around, here in Corpus, but this was kind of like an 80s techno type place, right? That some of my friends and I went to. After we would go to these country and western places, we get kind of, bored over there, and we'd like go to this place. And I got in good with some of the bartenders, man, and I would get poured like triples. I'd get poured triple liquor type stuff for the price of one drink.
Family style.
Yeah, man. So, I'd get a, big old tall glass of a mixed drink. And, normally they would pour like, one shot, for what you're asking. Well, my buddy would pour in two or three shots extra and mix it all up, and you couldn't taste the alcohol. I just know you get fucked up bad. I mean, you would get like toasty big time very quickly, man. And so I'd sit there and have to sip water for about an hour and then go back to drinking, do it all over again for another hour, and then finally go home about 4 hours later. So, shit, yeah. A lot of good times that way, though. Dance with a lot of people, and then there was just times where I was just sitting there and drinking myself. But a lot of the times, um, I would go with some friends, and we would go to dances, and we would follow this one band. And man, that was the best time because we had about 80 or 90 people with us in the group, and we would just be out there dancing and drinking, man. And we even had stuff for the cops that we got in good with. So when they came around, we had a bottle ready for them. They'd pour out the bottle that we had ready for them to pour out,
Hmm.
and then we had the one that we were drinking. So anytime they pulled us over, they knew already that we had, that we already had their shit ready to go because we're like, ah, hell, all right, here he comes. He's got to stop us. So, and of course, they'd be rookies there, right? So they'd ask the rookies to stay by the car and shit like that. And so the one that, the cops that we knew, they would come up and they're like, hey, fellas, how y'all doing? You know why we stopped y'all, right? Yep, we do. We know. So he'd get in front of the camera and he'd pour the bottle out. He'd pour the bottle out so he could show the camera that he's pouring the bottle out, right? And then we'd give him we'd go around, and underneath the camera where you can't see, we'd slip him his bottle, right? And so he'd have the bottle and he'd put it in his pocket. And then and then so we'd have ours, and he says, "Okay, you guys." And he writes us like some stupid bullshit ticket for nothing, right? I mean, like he's all right, this is
Doing
just
you
a
a
warning.
favor.
He
Yeah.
was all like, "Okay, this is just a warning, guys. Get out of here." All right. Thank you. So we had to set up all the time, man. We knew exactly who was going to be where, when they were going to be, having the roadblocks and so forth. We knew who we could have and who we couldn't, slip some to, all that shit, man. It was great. It was great. But man, best times in the world when you had about 40 to 80 people in your whole group and you're just out there just knocking it, having fun. With a good band too, mind you. Good band. Like I said, music is key. Music is key. So it was one of the bands in the thing with the Manfredos. No, the Manfredos were the women fighters, right? Something like
Soul
that.
Gibson.
There you go, Soul Gibson. There you go.
Soul Gibson is the biggest band in the land.
There you go. Even sounds like a badass band, dude. Soul Gibson. Come on. It sounds like a badass band.
Felicia says boyfriend was in a band, so I was hanging out in bars before I could drink. Then I turned 21 and it was on.
That's normally the way it goes. Yep.
Oh, I think I'm gonna bow out because I'm going to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, it's yeah, we've been on here for about, hour and 31 minutes, so it's actually been a good night, man. Felicia, thank you for stopping by and um
Yeah, Primal, Felicia, thanks for
Primal,
being here. Anyone else that
Felicia.
watches this. Um,
Yeah, for all you guys and ladies that are watching this later too, thank you so much for coming by and watching Mundo Monday, and also, if you guys get a chance to, make sure you like and subscribe to Anthony and Kevin, their stuff. Also, go and check out, Comic Book Creation Live. You can also check out Anthony on the Space Window channel. You can um, also check out Kevin and his work and so forth. And make sure you like and subscribe to all their stuff, guys, because if you like the content that's going on here, and you're having a good time, come by and hang out with us on Mondays and so forth. Hopefully I can keep keep the energy up and going. And as Mundo Mondays comes more, and I get more time to do certain things, um, I plan on doing a little bit more fun things and having more participation and audience participation. And hopefully sometime next year, maybe I can get home a little bit earlier and do the show a little bit earlier.
yeah, Mundo, like I
And
got an idea of like something you could do. I mean, if you've got nothing else to talk about, like you could like watch one of my videos that you
hmm
like for instance, there's like the new one where we gave the saber to Charlie and you were
oh
involved with that.
yes,
So you could like watch that, pause it, talk about it, unpause it. Another thing I thought of is like you really like that old saber I made where you've talked about it a couple times where it's called like gray. Was it called Gray Jedi Saber or something to that effect?
yeah, the
You could
Great
like,
Jedi, yeah.
because no one's ever gonna watch that video because it's like back in the ancient realms of my channel. But if you went and like found that, you could play it and talk about it. I don't even remember what I said in that video. It's probably a shitty video, but you could
Oh
like,
man.
you know, kind of unpause it and then pause it when you're like, I really like this part because, or I did this on my saber because I saw it here or whatever. You could do like any number of things, or like find an article that you like have an issue with or that you liked or didn't like, and you could like read the article for people because sometimes they don't know all the stuff that you've read or whatever, so you could like read this article and be like, this pissed me off because of this, or this is really
hmm
cool because they're doing this, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be like a comic book thing or like a movie thing. You're like, oh, I don't like what they're doing in this comic book, or I read this comic and it's awesome, whatever.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I'm going to do is to grow, my time for Mundo Mondays is also, I'll be doing things like that with comic books and so
Yeah,
forth.
because like
I
you could
may
bring your
even
like
bust out
favorite comic to the like your favorite comic of the week or something. Like it could
yeah,
be like an old Wolverine issue that you're just like, I just love this cover. The inside has got great art. This story hit me in the heart because they stabbed Wolverine. Whatever the case is,
right.
that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there's gonna be some really good content coming, and I just got to get my shit together. And like I said, hopefully sometime this coming up year, I'll get my wish to come home a little bit earlier and do the show a little bit earlier so we can catch more people, Uh,
Yeah, also if like a
unfor
different night works better for you, it doesn't have to be Monday. I mean, like what a funny title might be is like Mundo Monday on Friday. So if you
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
mean,
do
it's
it,
possible,
on a
man.
different night that you weren't working or something.
Yeah, it's possible. I could probably do something like that too. Kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, or I could think of another like M. Like it'll be like, you know, like you actually said it last time, like Mundo Madness. That could be like,
Yeah,
we'll make up like a new logo and put like Mundo Madness or something.
that
But
could
that
be
way it
a
could be
really
anytime.
good thing because yeah, Mundo Madness could actually be at any time. So yeah, and that could be the kicker right there. Mundo Madness anytime. You know.
Yeah,
So
because you could,
yeah.
because it could be like if it was the morning, you could title the video like Morning Mundo Madness, and if it was night,
Mm-hmm.
it could be like Midnight Mundo Madness.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if like what day it is.
True. True. That is so true, man. All right. Well, folks, I guess we're both gonna bail out. And like I said again, thank you all for stopping by, Felicia and Primal. Thank you guys so much for being here. And for those of you who are gonna be watching this a little bit later, like and subscribe to Kevin Anthony and you know, I think I've got Mundo YouTube channel on too. So, uh, you know. Uh, again, very much appreciated for y'all stopping by. Merry Christmas, Felicia. You know,
Merry Christmas,
and
Felicia.
guys, we're gonna have so much fun next Mundo Monday. Hopefully, talk about a few different other things, maybe some different comic books too. And Mundo out.
Have
I'm
a good
going to
night, guys.
do.
I'll talk to you in the next one.
Yes, you too. Have a great night, man. Let me see here.
Have a
I'm
good
going to
night,
play
Mundo.
a
Thanks for
little
doing this.
clip. Yeah, man. No, thanks for stopping.